What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video. In today's video, we'll be covering a task 4 speaking question, the last speaking question in the speaking section of the Toefl exam. Now, you will only be given a lecture which is going to be way longer than 1 minute. That's the amount of time that you have to summarize the lecture's information. So what does this mean? Don't chase after every single word or information that you hear or understand, because it's a trap. Statistically, realistically speaking, you will not be able to fit everything you understand for the lecture inside of a 60-second time slot, because you're not going to be speaking faster than the professor, right? So anyways, take out your notebooks, grab your writing utensils, and get ready to take some awesome notes. Let's listen to the lecture.
Rocks near the Earth's surface are directly exposed to elements in the environment, such as air and water, and also to conditions such as temperature change, as well as to living organisms. And this exposure to the environment can actually cause even huge rocks to break into smaller pieces. This process is called weathering. Let's talk about a couple of ways weathering occurs. First of all, rocks are often exposed to water. In cold, wet environments, rocks can break due to water freezing inside of them. How does this happen? Well, as I'm sure you know, when water freezes, it expands, and over time, this can lead to weathering. Imagine a rock with a small opening or crack in it. It rains, and water gets into the crack and stays there. Then, at night, the temperature drops, and the water inside the crack freezes. This growing, expanding ice pushes outward on either side of the crack, causing it to get slightly bigger. When this happens again and again, the crack becomes larger, and eventually pieces of the rock break off. Okay, weathering can also be caused by plants, by plant growth. If a plant seed gets blown into the crack of a rock, it may take root, and its roots will grow down into the rock. The plant's roots can cause the rock to break down, a fracture. You may have seen this with large trees growing on top of a rock. A great example of this. Usually there's enough dirt in the crack of a rock or on top of a rock to allow a tree to start growing there. As the tree grows over the years, the tree's roots extend downward into the cracks and crevices of the rock in search of water and nutrients. Over time, the roots get bigger and grow deeper, widening and enlarging the cracks, causing the rock to break apart.
Using points and examples from the lecture, explain 2 ways weathering occurs.
The professor gave a lecture about how weathering naturally occurs in nature. To begin with, large rocks are frequently exposed to water and extremely cold environments. Hence, water inside of these rocks freezes, expands, and this is how weathering occurs. For example, when water inside of rocks freezes, it actually makes the cracks much bigger and eventually splits them into many pieces. Furthermore, weathering can also be caused by plants that take root and grow in rocks. To be more specific, when large trees grow on rocks, their roots actually extend down into the ground in search of water. Needless to say, these rocks will eventually break apart due to the roots of the large trees. In summation, this was how weathering naturally occurs, which was illustrated by water and plants. Okay, now I'm going to be honest with you. When I saw the capital R here, for a moment I was like, is it roots or rocks? Is it roots or rocks? But I realized that it's rocks, and I don't think that it was too awkward. Maybe it was very awkward in my mind, but not so awkward to the ears. Hopefully not. I'm going to be noticing when I edit this video. Anyhow, at the real test, sometimes your mistake or brain fart moment is going to be a lot worse in your head, in your imagination, than it was actually in real life. So guys, when you do feel like you are going to make a mistake, or when you feel like you hesitated, in other words, lost your fluency to some degree, forget about it right after it happens and keep trucking on, okay? Keep trying to speak steadily, keep maintaining a nice pace so that you can wrap everything up in a fluent manner, all right? Because as Americans, most Americans to say the least, we love underdog stories in which a person who was at a great disadvantage overcomes difficulties, improves, and ultimately achieves his or her goals. So guys, task 4, I know it's on a lecture, it's based on a lecture that you only get to listen once, and it's pretty long. Besides, it's about something like weathering, which is something that not too many of us are fond of or interested in, to say the least, once again. So guys, it is kind of challenging, difficult, and you are being forced to answer this question. But you only have one attempt, so even if you think that you're doing bad, even if you think that you're not so confident or certain about what you're gonna say, you gotta put on a mask, put on a disguise, and maintain your composure, all right? All right. So if you guys enjoyed the question and the sample response, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, share the content, but most importantly, if you are a self-disciplined and dedicated person, reach out to me about my tutoring services. Let's get the job done in 2020. Peace.